in Madhya Pradesh. Mama ji out, Mohan Yadav in.
मैं सभी का आभार मानता हूं, केंद्र नेतृत्व का, प्रदेश नेतृत्व का.
BJP goes for generational change. Mega CM surprise in Rajasthan next. Top focus at 6 p.m. prime.
Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshita and Nandagopal, and our focus is on the big surprise that's been sprung by the BJP in the state of Madhya Pradesh. A list of frontrunners was discussed, a list of contenders were discussed, and then you had the name of Mohan Yadav being dropped by the BJP. In typical Bharatiya Janata Party style, nobody knew and nobody saw this coming. And it's led to questions about whether we can expect a similar play tomorrow as well in the state of Rajasthan. We're going to be decoding the big decision by BJP in Madhya Pradesh and also telling you what to expect tomorrow in the state of Rajasthan. A look at the headlines first. Massive googly by the BJP top brass. Madhya Pradesh Higher Education Minister Mohan Yadav promoted to CM. Mama Shivraj Singh Chouhan's rule ends after 18 long years. All eyes are on the state of Rajasthan, where newly elected BJP MLAs will hold a legislative meet tomorrow to finalize who the Chief Minister of Rajasthan will be. Big boost for Modi government in top court. Unanimous Supreme Court verdict upholds Article 370 abrogation. Top court calls for restoration of Jammu and Kashmir statehood and also says elections must be held by September 2024. Politics over Supreme Court verdict on the abrogation of Article 370. Prime Minister Modi and BJP top brass hail the Supreme Court verdict. Jammu and Kashmir opposition netas say disappointed but not disheartened. Mahua Moitra moves Supreme Court, challenging her expulsion from Lok Sabha as a Member of Parliament. MEA fact-checks claim of secret Pannu note, rubbishes secret note as fake and fabricated, calls it disinformation campaign against India. And soon after the announcement of Mohan Yadav as the next Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, the wheels already being set in motion. Shivraj Singh Chouhan has formally submitted his resignation to the governor at Raj Bhavan. You've also had Mohan Yadav going ahead and staking claim. Mohan Yadav is currently at Raj Bhavan, staking claim to form the new Madhya Pradesh government. A big surprise that came in earlier today as the BJP confirmed that Mohan Yadav, MLA from Ujjain South, is the chosen one. That was followed by the images you see on your screens of Shivraj Singh Chouhan blessing Mohan Yadav. All right, joining us here on this broadcast, we've got Rajdeep Sardesai and Preeti Chaudhary with us. Rajdeep, to you first, good evening. Everyone caught off guard essentially by the announcement made by the BJP today. Were you also a bit surprised? Are you still a bit surprised about what's happened and Mohan Yadav being named as the next Chief Minister?
To be honest, one is no longer surprised with Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah when they choose chief ministers. It is usually expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
And there was a sense of a generational change yesterday itself when in Chhattisgarh, Raman Singh was passed over. And the same thing has happened now in Madhya Pradesh and expect possibly the same thing in Rajasthan. The BJP has consciously gone in for a generational change while not affecting the social matrix. I think that is important to remember. You've replaced one OBC with another OBC chief minister in Mohan Yadav. What you've also done is two deputy chief ministers. One is a Brahmin, one is a Dalit. You've got a speaker in Narendra Singh Tomar who's a Thakur. So what you've done is you've kept the social engineering intact even while effecting a generational change, bringing in someone younger, someone who hasn't got the experience of the older hand, but perhaps will be seen as more energetic and a fresher face. So I think this is the pattern that the Narendra Modi government has adopted. You can go right across the country from Pushkar Dhami, Yogi Adityanath, Manohar Lal Khattar. In each instance, it is usually a surprising choice. It is a choice which is made effectively by the party high command. This is high command culture. But as we've seen, particularly in the case of Yogi Adityanath, it has worked for the BJP. And therefore, they have chosen to do away with the old guard and bring in the new.
I think the only hint that we had, Rajdeep, was that, look, it was going to be an OBC phase. That much we could take for as a given, really, before the announcement was made. But having said that, Rajdeep, even among, the supposed front runners in this race, there were several OBC faces. So what really do you think has made the BJP High Command choose someone like a Mohan Yadav?
Well, I think what is surprising is there are OBC faces like Prahlad Patel who were sent after being union ministers back to the state. In fact, look at it. There were 7 MPs, including a couple of ministers from Madhya Pradesh who went and contested the state elections. Narendra Singh Tomar becomes the speaker. From agriculture minister, he's speaker. Prahlad Patel fought an impressive campaign by all accounts. The party did reasonably well in and around his region. And yet he's not got any benefit in terms of getting chief ministership. His chief ministership ambitions have been set aside. Correct. I think Mohan Yadav comes in because he's been a minister in the Madhya Pradesh government. He has a backing of the Sangh Parivar. Madhya Pradesh is the one state where the RSS exercises still a disproportionate influence over politics in the state. He was a preferred choice, we are told, of the Sangh Parivar, comes from Ujjain. Remember, the BJP has been making much of the Mahakal corridor and the impact that is having in terms of religiosity. And I think, therefore, the BJP did very well in the Malwa region. So you've gone in for a chief minister from the Malwa region. So you've taken into account regional considerations. You've looked at the religious identity. There's the Sangh Parivar angle. And he's not, from the Shivraj Singh Chouhan camp. Had he been from the Shivraj Singh Chouhan camp, you could have argued there's a measure of continuity. I think they've sent out a signal that it's an end of an era. Shivraj Singh Chouhan was the last chief minister surviving from the Vajpayee-Advani era, appointed in 2005 when Mr. Vajpayee and Mr. Advani in particular was still in public life. So you've really brought in a true generational change and sent out a message that the Shivraj Singh Chouhan era is well and truly over.
But is that a good thing or a bad thing for the BJP? Preeti, what do you think? This is a gamble. There's no doubt about that. But do you think that this is something that works for the BJP or could work for them? Shivraj Singh Chouhan, 18 years as chief minister, very graciously, of course, was seen blessing Mohan Yadav.
Well, everybody was shocked because when immediately Shivraj Singh Chouhan was asked to comment on camera, he says, "Abhi nahi, thodi der baad." For someone who's been giving, for someone who's been speaking to the camera, so very often. But having said that, and maybe Rajdeep can also weigh in on this, they've got the caste permutations right. For example, to have a Yadav chief minister who's young, you're going into an election in 2024 where the Yadavs of Bihar, of Uttar Pradesh, you have a chief minister where a Yadav is there. You've completed the whole caste bracket because you have an OBC as a chief minister in Madhya Pradesh. You have a tribal right now that you've put as the chief minister in Chhattisgarh. You've taken care of the upper caste dynamic where, you're not seen to be, looking at only one caste, which is the OBC at the back of what the Congress is saying, and alienating the upper caste, which has been your primary supporter. And you've accommodated an upper caste in terms of Rajendra Shukla as your deputy CM and a Dalit face as well, where Mansoor and the farmer belt is concerned, where Rajasthan comes into question. So caste-wise, yes. And maybe we can, get in Rajdeep here as well. Because, Akshita, what's interesting, Rajdeep, do you also see it somewhere, the Congressization of the BJP in terms of taking away, not autonomy per se, but what regional satraps were? BJP has been a state where regional leadership has been always very strong. We saw it once with the Congress, and then we saw this massive high command culture diluting the state units. And now something, on the same account, because this clearly was a pro-incumbency vote. Many people would sit back and say Shivraj Singh Chouhan should have been, given the title of the chief minister. He's earned it.
Look, I would have your question with a yes and no. The no is quite simply this. The BJP has done in Madhya Pradesh what has not been done by the...
Okay, I think...
had an opportunity to effect a generational change. The Congress had an
Rajdeep, my apologies, but
change.
we're just going to cut across live right now to reaction coming in from Mohan Yadav.
धन्यवाद कपिल जी, आप आए। नहीं ऐसी क्या बात है, लाइव तो लगा रहा
Bhavan, I presume, where you've got Shivraj Singh Chouhan with the central observers, with Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar, who accompanied them to the Raj Bhavan as well. And Shivraj Singh Chouhan, as I mentioned, Preeti, has been extremely gracious. There's been no question of him not listening to the High Command. He's someone who's, stood tall for 18 years. Would have been easy for him to kind of, reinstate that, I'm powerful. I can go ahead and also call the shots if I need to be. He's not done any of that. He's waited for the announcement to be made by the High Command, even seemingly giving his blessings to Mohan Yadav, though many would say maybe he didn't have really a choice.
The fact is, Akshita, if you look at Shivraj Singh Chouhan, the day the mandate came, when we were in the studio, within a span of 1 hour, let's listen in first.
सर क्या कुछ कहेंगे, नई जिम्मेदारी मिली है अब मुख्यमंत्री सर
चलिए कौन है यहाँ पे?
जी सर
चलिए सिंगल इनको एजेंसी
सर नई जिम्मेदारी मिली है, कार्यकर्ता को चुना है भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने, क्या कुछ कहेंगे?
देखिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी का ये तंत्र ही ऐसा है कि छोटे से कार्यकर्ता को बड़ी से बड़ी जवाबदारी देती, और हम सब की ट्रेनिंग भी ऐसी होती कि इस आधार पर पार्टी जो काम दे दे उसको बहुत सहजता के साथ लेते हैं। मैं बाबा महाकाल की कृपा और माननीय यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी, माननीय गृह मंत्री अमित शाह जी, राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष माननीय नड्डा जी और हमारे यशस्वी मुख्यमंत्री माननीय शिवराज सिंह जी चौहान, हमारे सभी नेतृत्व का माननीय नरेंद्र सिंह जी, माननीय कैलाश जी विजयवर्गीय, माननीय प्रहलाद पटेल जी, राकेश सिंह जी, माननीय वी.डी. शर्मा जी, सभी के साथ हमने मिलकर के आज विधायक दल की बैठक में बैठे थे। और आकस्मिक में तो सहजता से अपना पीछे की पंक्ति में बैठ करके अपना काम कर रहा था। अचानक वहाँ जो घोषणा की है, मैं निश्चित रूप से सबका आभार भी मानता हूँ। और ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी के साथ साथ पूरे प्रदेश की जनता, 8 करोड़ से ऊपर जनता है, उन सबके विश्वास पे भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने
क्या प्राथमिकता रहेंगी सर आपकी?
निश्चित रूप से विकास के काम को आगे बढ़ाना, यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री के काम को आगे बढ़ाना।
सर कई नाम चल रहे थे,
एक पीटीआई संदीप भाई आइए।
Brief statement there by Mohan Yadav. Note also that he has spoken about the legacy of Shivraj Singh Chouhan that he carries forward. But Rajdeep, to you, apologies for cutting you off earlier, but you were making a point and of course referring to what Preeti was talking about, whether, this is in a way giving more control of the states to the High Command.
Well, the question that Preeti had posed was basically whether the BJP was going the Congress way in terms of high command culture. And my answer is yes and no. Remember, 5 years ago, the Congress had the opportunity to effect a generational change when they won Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. They could have gone in with a Sachin Pilot or a Jyotiraditya Scindia. They chose to play safe, went with the tried and trusted faces of Ashok Gehlot and Kamal Nath instead. The BJP has, on the other hand, chosen to effect a generational change. What the BJP has also done, though, is really taken a view which is not based on the BJP legislature party, what the MLAs want. I spoke to a senior BJP leader and he laughed when I said, would Mohan Yadav have been the choice of the legislators? And he said, of course not. This is a choice that is taken in Delhi. So to that extent, the high command culture has certainly been Congressified, you could argue, in the BJP, with again one caveat, that the BJP does its electoral calculus very carefully and the social engineering that we've spoken about in getting the right caste combination before it makes these announcements. In the high command culture of the Congress, what mattered more than anything else was complete loyalty and obedience, in a way, to the Indira Gandhi cult at the time. It's much less so, I would argue, in the BJP. Certainly, a Yogi Adityanath is an example, in a way, of someone who has been able to carve out his own leadership style in Uttar Pradesh. I don't know whether Mohan Yadav will be able to do that. It is possible that he will be much more like a Manohar Lal Khattar, who really is very much the man of
Rajdeep, let me flip this question for you. Instead of putting the spotlight right now on the BJP for once, just for a minuscule minute, let's put it on the Congress. The BJP has taken a huge gamble, effected a generational change. We'll know how it goes over time. On the other side, juxtapose it with the Congress. Still, The resignation of a Kamal Nath hasn't been asked for.
Absolutely right. It is very interesting. 3 days ago, I think it was on Thursday or Friday, that we put out a flash saying Kamal Nath resigns as Madhya Pradesh Congress chief. I got a call from Mr. Kamal Nath's office saying, please remove it. We have not handed over our resignation. So Kamal Nath appears by all accounts to be still digging his heels in, at least at the moment not resigning. And neither is Ashok Gehlot giving indication that he intends to step down anytime soon. But because the Congress High Command is so weakened, they are unable to enforce their authority. Look, a high command culture is only as good and bad as your political authority. Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah ji can do what they are at the moment because they are vote catchers. And when you're a vote catcher, you can decide who you want as your chief minister. Remember, the BJP leadership certainly believes that it is Modi ki guarantee that worked above all else. It wasn't some chief minister's, it wasn't Shivraj Singh Chouhan's personal appeal that made the difference. Yes, Ladli Behna and the schemes initiated by his government were important, but in the end, it was Modi ki guarantee that made the difference. If that's the philosophy that you have, then the chief minister becomes almost irrelevant who you make, and no one really can dissent. In the Congress, on the other hand, the Congress leadership is unable to enforce its writ at times, and we've seen that in the way Ashok Gehlot versus Sachin Pilot in particular played out, the manner in which Jyotiraditya Scindia left the Congress party in Madhya Pradesh. So I think it's a tale of two high commands, one which has supreme political authority, one which has diminished political authority.
The other thing that really stands out for me is that if you put the Congress in the situation that it was right now, we'd perhaps have known who the next chief minister was going to be much before, versus with the BJP High Command, there's no way you're going to get any sort of leads on who could be the next chief minister, which is what happened. You had several contenders, and then the name of Mohan Yadav came out of the blue suddenly and caught everyone completely off guard. He ticks all the right boxes in that sense, considering that he is an OBC face. The BJP has been talking about generational change. They managed that also with Mohan Yadav. But I want to just briefly cut across to reactions coming in, and then I'll bring in Polami as well as Hemender, who are live with us from the ground.
मैं केंद्रीय नेतृत्व पे माननीय यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री, माननीय यशस्वी गृह मंत्री, हमारे राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष नड्डा जी, मैं सभी का आभार मानता हूं, केंद्रीय नेतृत्व का, प्रदेश नेतृत्व का।
तो मोहन जी, शिवराज सिंह चौहान,
माननीय मुख्यमंत्री शिवराज सिंह जी चौहान से
अभी केवल नेता का चुनाव हुआ है और मोहन यादव जी अभी विधायक दल के नेता चुने गए। बधाई उनको, बहुत सारी बधाई, बहुत बधाई, शुभकामनाएं हमारी, और सब मिलके काम करेंगे।
प्राथमिकताएं क्या रहेंगी आपकी?
प्राथमिकताएं विकास, ये अभी तो मुख्यमंत्री जी का हुआ है, मोहन यादव जी अपने विधायक दल के नेता चुने गए हैं, उनको बधाई, उनको शुभकामनाएं जी।
तो आपको क्या जिम्मेदारी दी गई है?
अभी कोई अधिकृत जानकारी नहीं है,
तो आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी मध्य प्रदेश के नवनिर्वाचित विधायक दल की बैठक हमारे केंद्रीय पर्यवेक्षक आदरणीय मनोहर लाल खट्टर जी के नेतृत्व में, आदरणीय के लक्ष्मण जी और आदरणीय सुश्री आशा लकड़ा जी राष्ट्रीय सचिव, तीनों केंद्रीय पर्यवेक्षक के नेतृत्व में बैठक संपन्न हुई है। उस बैठक में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के हमारे वरिष्ठ नेता मुख्यमंत्री आदरणीय शिवराज सिंह चौहान ने मोहन यादव जी का नाम प्रस्तावित किया मध्य प्रदेश के नए नेता के लिए, विधायक दल के नेता के लिए। और हमारे केंद्रीय मंत्री रहे वरिष्ठ नेता आदरणीय नरेंद्र सिंह तोमर जी, आदरणीय कैलाश विजयवर्गीय जी, आदरणीय प्रहलाद पटेल जी, आदरणीय मध्य प्रदेश के हमारे सभी वरिष्ठ नेतृत्व ने उनके प्रस्ताव का आज अभी समर्थन किया है। और मैं मोहन यादव जी मध्य प्रदेश के विधायक दल के नए नेता के तौर पर आज वो निर्वाचित हुए हैं। मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी मध्य प्रदेश की ओर से, मध्य प्रदेश के करोड़ों कार्यकर्ताओं की ओर से उन्हें बहुत बधाई और शुभकामनाएं देता हूं।
हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं मनोहर लाल खट्टर जी, जो हरियाणा के सीएम हैं, जो आज यहाँ मेन ऑब्जर्वर बन के आए थे। उनके साथ 2 ऑब्जर्वर भी थे। मनोहर लाल जी, किस ढंग से ये चयन हुआ, कौन प्रस्तावक थे और ये नाम अचानक जो चर्चा में भी नहीं था?
देखिए, ये सारा विषय प्रदेश की जो एक टीम होती है और विधायक दल के जो प्रमुख लोग होते हैं वो सब बैठ करके विचार करते हैं, एक एक नाम पर विचार करते हैं और उसके बाद पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड के उस पर मोहर लगती है, तब जा करके ये सारी चीज़ें होती है। प्रदेश के जो वर्तमान मुख्यमंत्री हैं उन्होंने स्वयं इच्छा पकड़ी है कि इस नाम का प्रस्तावना मैं करूँगा। उन्होंने प्रस्तावना की और बाकी जो प्रमुख 9-10 लोग हैं उन्होंने उसका समर्थन किया, अनुमोदन किया और उसके बाद पूरे विधायक दल ने उसका समर्थन किया।
अचानक ये नाम कोई चर्चा में नहीं, ना राजनीति,
ये विषय जो यहाँ के स्थानीय नेता हैं ये उनकी आपसी समझ होती है। ये इस विषय में हमारा पर्यवेक्षक के नाते कोई रोल नहीं होता है। पर्यवेक्षक तो ये है सब मिल करके जिसका भी चयन करे मिलकर चयन कर ले।
आलाकमान की क्या भूमिका थी
इसमें? जब ये नाम कोई जाता है तो उसके ऊपर वहाँ के लोग चर्चा करते हैं, उसके ऊपर मोहर लगाते हैं। उन्होंने मोहर लगाई और घोषणा हो गई।
तो कैसे रहेंगे आगे की 2024 की राजनीति को देखते हुए मोहन यादव जी?
देखिए, निश्चित रूप से जो मुझे जानकारी ली है और वो 3 बार के विधायक हैं और संगठन से जुड़े हुए पुराने व्यक्ति हैं। उन्होंने संघ में, उन्होंने विद्यार्थी परिषद में, उन्होंने भारतीय जनता पार्टी में एक लंबा काम किया है। मुझे लगता है कि इस प्रदेश को आगे लेकर के बढ़ेंगे।
Central observer Manohar Lal Khattar there saying that this was a decision that was thought through and they considered several factors before going ahead and choosing Mohan Yadav. Paulami Saha and Heminder Sharma are live with us. They were of course on ground when the news broke. Paulami, you were taken aback. I remember we were live on the broadcast. You did say that this came as a huge surprise. And I sensed that among BJP supporters as well. Many of them were saying they want the return of Mamaji. Some were backing, saying we want an OBC face, we want the likes of Prahlad Patel. Nobody saw this coming of Mohan Yadav being named.
Absolutely nobody saw this coming. You know, we saw the faces over here as Heminder, my colleague, broke that news on India Today that Mohan Yadav is going to be the next Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. The faces around there, suddenly pin drop silence. You know, there was a lot of noise in the air. There was a lot of dhol. There was a lot of sloganeering that was happening. And suddenly there was pin drop silence with many probably asking who as the name was announced. And then, of course, sort of recovering from the shock of it to then come back and say, oh, the higher education minister of Madhya Pradesh has just been anointed the next chief minister of the state. He's CM designate now. Clearly, there was a surprise element as far as the Bharatiya Janata Party was concerned. This is something that we have been adding as a disclaimer, Akshita, to all of the lists that we've been putting out, be it a Chhattisgarh or Madhya Pradesh or even Rajasthan now, a disclaimer saying, at the end of the day, we still don't know what the party is thinking because it could still spring a surprise. Manohar Lal Khattar himself was a surprise when he was announced as the Chief Minister of the state of Haryana a few years ago. Correct. And then, of course, now this name, Pushkar Dhami, Bhupendra Patel, many such names, you know, that you can think of. Yogi Adityanath, of course, the biggest surprise.
Once again, because it's gone exactly the way it went in Gujarat. And I remember, you know, you were reporting and I was anchoring. Will you once again take us through on how Bhupendra Yadav Patel's name was announced in a very similar fashion, exactly what happened today?
It's one of those anecdotes that has gone down in history, and a lot of us reporters, you know, were recounting that episode, saying this is literally what happens, and trust this to happen when we, of course, report out of a Madhya Pradesh or a Rajasthan. We've been speculating so much, it amounts to nothing because this is the sort of surprise. Bhupendra Patel did not see it coming. Bhupendra Patel was sitting in the last row of the conference hall, completely oblivious to the proceedings, did not even see this happening. You know, he was very busy on his phone and, you know, just basically oblivious. And Narendra Tomar at that time was a central observer in Gujarat, and he gave a 45-minute long speech because it was still being finalized, is what we're being told. And suddenly he announced the name. Bhupendra Patel did not hear it. He was oblivious to it. And then someone turned around and said, "Sir, aap neta ban gaye." And he said, "Main to neta hoon." And then the person told him, "Sir, aap Vidhayak Dal ke neta ban gaye." And that's when Bhupendra Patel realized the cameras were going all over the room, trying to figure where is Bhupendra Patel, who is this gentleman whose name has been announced. Suddenly we zeroed in on the last row, and Bhupendra Patel had stood up, white shirt, black trousers, flashing the victory sign.
And so, from the story you're telling us, I think our viewers can forgive us if we didn't guess the name of Mohan Yadav before the announcement, because clearly even those within the BJP have absolutely no clue. Was it a similar scene that played out in today's meeting as well, Heminder, that Mohan Yadav was seated somewhere, had no clue his name would be announced?
Well, absolutely. In fact, no one had any idea about who's going to be the next Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. No one was given, and all the names that we had been discussing, no one was ever given any hint. No clue was given to them. So that's why all of them were a little anxious before going inside into the meeting. They said they didn't have any idea as to who's going to be the next Chief Minister. And when Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chouhan, when he proposed the name of Mohan Yadav, there was everyone was surprised, and we spoke to people inside the hall. They said that there was pin drop silence for a moment, and then the congratulations thing started. And outside as well, people were completely surprised. No one expected Mohan Yadav to be the next Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. It took some time for people over here. Most of the people who were here outside the BJP office were belonging to one group or the other, but of only those people who we had been talking about. Mohan Yadav, there was no supporter of Mohan Yadav. Ultimately, we managed to find one of his nephews. He was there, he spoke to us. But amongst the common people, those who were here outside, none of them were supporters of Mohan Yadav, and no one anticipated this, no one expected this. It came as a surprise.
We were live with you when you managed to find one supporter of Mohan Yadav standing among the crowd of hundreds of people who had gathered there outside the BJP headquarters. So he didn't even know to ensure that, his supporters had gathered there to root for him. No one was present there. One person who came up and said that, I was rooting for Mohan Yadav. I want to now play out for you the reactions of Mohan Yadav, the Chief Minister, the next Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, his family members, who reportedly found out that he is going to be the next Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh by watching TV channels. They had no clue. They didn't get any phone call. They were watching what was happening live, and then they saw the news break here on India Today and Aaj Tak that Mohan Yadav is the chosen one.
महाकाल बाबा ने बहुत खुशी का दिन दिखाया है। ये बहुत अच्छा लगा मुख्यमंत्री बनने से। और
मतलब अब आप मध्य प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री की श्रीमती जी हैं, क्या कहेंगी? घर पे कैसे रहते हैं मोहन जी? किस तरह से आपने सोचा था मुख्यमंत्री बनेंगे?
उनकी मेहनत फल लाई है। महाकाल बाबा का आशीर्वाद मिला है जो वो मुख्यमंत्री बने हैं, और सेवा के लिए तैयार है। जनता की सेवा करेंगे।
घर में किस तरह का खुशी का माहौल?
बहुत खुशी का माहौल है। खुशी का कोई ठिकाना ही नहीं है, कुछ बता ही नहीं सकते कितनी खुशी हुई है।
परिवार में कौन कौन क्या कहना है सबका?
सबको बहुत अच्छा लगा, सब बहुत खुश है सीएम बनने से। तो
अब आपको कुछ अपने आप में अंतर लगेगा कि नहीं, आप वैसे ही रहेंगी, उज्जैन वालों से वैसे ही मिलेंगी, आप वैसे ही श्रीमती शिवा यादव
जैसे है वैसे ही रहेंगे। ठिकाना नहीं है।
प्रदेश के विकास में उनका अच्छा योगदान रहेगा।
बहुत अच्छा योगदान रहेगा उनका, और काम के लिए बैठे हैं, काम करेंगे, जनता की सेवा कर रहे हैं, करते रहेंगे।
बधाई, आपको भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और निश्चित रूप से प्रसन्नता की तो बात है ही। घर में सबसे छोटे हैं मोहन भैया, पांचों भाई बहन में हमने, और उन्होंने पार्टी की शुरू से ही विद्यार्थी परिषद के समय से लगातार प्रयासरत रहे हैं, सेवा के कार्य में हमेशा अग्रणी रहे हैं, चाहे वो प्राधिकरण में रहे हों, चाहे पर्यटन में रहे हों, चाहे विधायक रहे हों, चाहे मंत्री रहे हों, हमेशा सहज सरल।
जिम्मेदारी है, बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है। उस जिम्मेदारी को पूरी निष्ठा के साथ निभाएंगे, और सारे लोग, हम भी उनके साथ सेवा कार्य में जुटे रहेंगे।
सीढ़ी है कि कड़ी मेहनत से चढ़ी है, उसका फल आज हमारे मामा जी को हम सबको मिला है, क्योंकि उनने और ईमानदारी से, बहुत ईमानदारी से करा है देश के लिए काम, तो उसका फल उनको मिला है।
बहुत खुशी की बात है। उन संघर्ष भी बहुत है। 1984 से सतत काम किया है भारतीय जनता पार्टी का, और हम विद्यार्थी परिषद के कार्यकर्ता के रूप में राष्ट्रीय स्तर तक काम किया है, और सतत काम किया है। निश्चित रूप से उसका परिणाम है, बड़ों का आशीर्वाद है, पार्टी का आशीर्वाद है, और बाबा महाकाल का आशीर्वाद।
इस टाइम में उनसे मिला, उन्हें क्या अभी निर्णय आएगा, जो भी आएगा अच्छा आएगा। और मामी जी से भी बात हुई कि सिर्फ मामा? नहीं, अभी हाल तो मामा से, अब बात करेंगे, अभी निकलने का इंतजार कर रहे हैं हम सब। मामी जी को इन्फॉर्मेशन टीवी के थ्रू ही मिली? नहीं, टीवी के द्वारा मिल गई उनको, वो अभी मैंने बात करी तो उनको मिल गई सबको।
So relatives, kin obviously elated, but for Mohan Yadav. While it's all about celebration now, he's going to have to hit the ground running, particularly because he has a legacy to really live up to. And to take forward the work of Shivraj Singh Chouhan, he's also going to have to prove himself to be the right choice to the BJP High Command. With months to go for 2024, that will be, again, a big test for Mohan Yadav. I'd like to thank Paulami and Hemendra. On the other side of a short break, we're going to be focusing on the state of Rajasthan. We know now the chief ministers of Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. So 2 down, 1 to go. And going by what's happened in the last 24 hours in these 2 states, it's clear that Rajasthan is also going to be a big surprise for everyone. We'll get you details on what to expect on the other side.
Today Group sweeps the ITA 2023 awards from Best English News Channel India Today TV to Best Hindi News Channel Aaj Tak, and the ultimate ITA Scroll of Honor for Nari Shakti Exemplary Leadership.
ये गर्व का मौका है कि मेरे नारी शक्ति के समर्थन और संकल्प को इस मंच ने और ताकत दी है। लंबे वक्त से बहुत से लोग ये बताते रहे कि एक आदमी की सफलता के पीछे एक औरत का हाथ होता है। अब वक्त बदला है। हर सफलता खुद हासिल करने के लिए हम सब आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। आत्मनिर्भर भारत की नींव आत्मनिर्भर नारी शक्ति ही बनेगी। एक नई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इस सम्मान के साथ मुझे मिली है। मैं इसे अपनी पूरी कमिटमेंट से निभाऊंगी।
Most trusted, most awarded. India Today, India's maximum channel.
Welcome back. Now, even as the announcement has been made over Madhya Pradesh and who the next chief minister will be, all eyes now are on Rajasthan with the question of kaun banega Rajasthan ka chief minister. The suspense is brewing. In hopefully 24 hours from now, we'll find out. As Central Observer Rajnath Singh is expected to be in Jaipur tomorrow. There will be a legislative party meet where in all likelihood, the Central Observers will convey to the MLAs what the High Command's decision is. Political activity is gathering steam. There are, of course, a lot of names doing the rounds, and the focus is particularly on the likes of Vasundhara Raje, of Baba Balaknath. But this could go any way, keeping in mind especially what we've seen in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh.
पर्यवेक्षक जब आएंगे यहाँ पर, क्या विधायकों से रायशुमारी होगी, पहले उसके बाद घोषणा होगी, या फिर कोई संदेश लेकर वो आएंगे संदेशवाहक के तौर पर और नाम की घोषणा जो कि केंद्रीय नेतृत्व ने तय किया होगा उसको बताएंगे?
ये तो पर्यवेक्षक ही बता पाएंगे और उनके आने के बाद जो भी प्रक्रिया होगी निश्चित रूप से।
तो अभी तक कोई तारीख तय नहीं हुई है सर, कब?
मैं कह रहा हूँ जल्दी आपको सूचना देंगे
सर। 16 तारीख से मलमास लगने की बात है,
शीघ्र होगा और उससे पहले सब कुछ होगा।
उससे पहले ही आप कह रहे हैं, और जो शपथ ग्रहण है वो भी उससे पहले ही हो जाएगा सर, 16 तारीख से पहले?
देखिए, विधायक दल की बैठक होते ही सब कुछ, फिर आगे की सारी प्रक्रियाएं शीघ्र
कह सकते हैं सर 16 तारीख से पहले ही दोनों काम हो जाएंगे,
लगता है सही है।
और पीड़ा समाप्ति की ओर है, दिनों की दूरियां घंटों में सिमट चुकी है। आला कमान के हमारे दूत देश के रक्षा मंत्री जी जल्दी आएंगे और जल्दी निर्णय हो जाएगा। प्रतिपक्ष के नेता का अगर वो चयन कर लेते तो शायद नैतिकता के आधार पर वो सवाल कर सकते थे। वो क्यों भूल जाते हैं कि पिछली बार मुख्यमंत्री कौन बनेगा तब भी 9-10 दिन लगे थे और उसके बाद मुख्यमंत्री की शपथ लेने से पहले लोग फिश प्लेट खोल रहे थे, रेल की पटरियों पर जा रहे थे। भारतीय जनता पार्टी में ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा, यहाँ ना ऐसी संस्कृति है, जल्दी निर्णय हो जाएगा।
All right, Preeti Chaudhary is also with us. Preeti, do you dare to really harbour a guess on who could be announced as the Chief Minister of Rajasthan?
No, I'm not that brave. You know, I think it's a classic Rajasthan Russian roulette, which is going to happen tomorrow, because at the back of it, you know, it's a joke, but at the back of it, there will be many today in the Rajasthan BJP unit who would be fancying their chances. They'd be taking out their Sunday best and thinking, ho sakta hai. You know,
it's actually possible.
Yeah, it's actually possible. But I'll tell you what was common in the 3 names or the 4 names that have been picked, of course, other than caste representation across the state of Madhya Pradesh, and you balance it out with a tribal face in Chhattisgarh, and here you have a Yadav, who's an OBC, you have a Tomar, who's a Rajput as the speaker, you know, you have a Devra, who's a Dalit, and then you have, you know, Rajendra Shukla, who's upper caste. Other than all of that, what they have in common is they've been loyal supporters of the BJP and workers of the BJP for a very long time. Most of the, all three of them have been the deputy, the 2 deputy and the CM have been sitting cabinet ministers handling different portfolios. They have been on their constituency at least elected twice or 3 times over, and they won with a massive mandate. And they've always been considered as Bharatiya Janata Party loyalists, and they don't really fall into any camps. So with that in question, I think if you apply the same logic in Rajasthan, there will be many who'd be looking at it. You know, I'll tell you what the local Satta Bazaar was saying in Rajasthan. So till about 3 days ago, it was Kirodi Lal Meena. Okay. He's going to be the front runner, Kirodi Lal Meena, you know, in terms of, and then have a few deputies to balance the caste angle. Then, you know, just about yesterday, there was the name of a Diya Kumari, which is really strange because earlier on, there was nobody anticipated a Diya Kumari to be the front runner, even though she was being pulled up as somebody, you know, parallel to Vasundhara Raje. But the sheer fact that she's royalty, you know, upper caste, one would think at this point of time, the BJP wouldn't go with that guess.
But there
her
is
name
this
did come
factor,
up.
which is that, you know, there's a lot of talk about this. In Chhattisgarh, you know, a tribal CM. Here, Madhya Pradesh, OBC. Rajasthan, a woman.
See, that's the point. You know, that was my third point that I was coming to. Because earlier on, you know, there was Renuka Singh maybe in, you know, Chhattisgarh.
Yes.
So that woman angle would be balanced. So I would now harbor a guess it could be a woman. But, you know, the reason that in Madhya Pradesh, the BJP, Akshita, could effect a generational change without any hiccups is because it was a wave election. You know, when you have numbers like that, you can actually do whatever you want. And you know that numbers will hold. Rajasthan, the BJP is not very comfortable as the numbers it would have wanted to stack up on the board. Having said that, you are right. I do see a woman being the, you know, the chief minister. And I don't quite see Vasundhara getting that chair.
How do you think Vasundhara Raje would be seeing what's happened in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh? Do you think that she'd be hopeful because no woman has been chosen? Or do you think she'd see what's happened to a Raman Singh, what's happened to a Shivraj Singh Chouhan and say, look, it doesn't look good for me?
You know, also what didn't look good for her were the optics of political muscle flexing, where she got in over 44 MLAs, or the MLAs came to see her. You know, that's what she said. But she did pick up the phone and speak to the High Command in the BJP and said, listen, I'm a Karyakarta of the BJP. I will never fall out of line. Whatever the BJP wants, I will do. But having said that, those optics were there and they were there for a reason. So Vasundhara Raje Scindia is also no Shivraj Singh. You know, she's different in terms of a political leader, a tad bit more mercurial. Will it go down well with her that somebody's picked over her? She might suggest to the High Command not, but, you know, what we're picking up from ground is contrary.
Okay. Can she rebel is the question also.
Even if she rebels, she doesn't have the numbers. You know, so she really has no elbow room, political elbow room at play. But when you look at the long run, you know, Akshita, if you have to break it down in terms of how many seats, 29 seats in Madhya Pradesh, 28 the BJP won, Lok Sabha seats. The BJP won the last time around. The BJP maxed out Rajasthan. 25 out of 25, the BJP won where it came down the last time around. And this is the area, you know, I don't want to get into the north-south divide, but when you do the calculus like that, you've got to look at it, the Hindi heartland, the BJP needs to hold what it won the last time around to get, and the BJP wants to go 400 par this time. So to get that number, you've got to hold on to these seats, and they need to get a person in the top position who enables that.
And electorally,
who
they know
trust.
how important these three states
There'll definitely be deputy CMs, I see.
Okay.
There will definitely be representation of different caste groups, 100%, because Rajasthan, largely rural, whether we like it or not, is run on the metrics of caste.
Okay, so that's as far as you will go and really have a guess of what's expected tomorrow.
After today, no guess.
I can understand that to a great extent with what happened today, and when suddenly the name of Mohan Yadav came up out of nowhere, when we had about 5 names, all of who were doing the rounds, we had front runners, all of that. Mohan Yadav's name was nowhere on that list. Was nowhere on that list. We're putting out names right now. Let's see if any of them are named as the Chief Minister tomorrow.
CP Joshi to that also now.
All right, let's see if CP Joshi is in that list. But thanks very much, Preeti, for joining us here in our studios. I'm slipping into a very, very short break. Of course, we're going to track all the drama that's playing out over the announcement of the Chief Minister in Madhya Pradesh of what's expected tomorrow in Rajasthan. But I also want to briefly focus on the political showdown that's playing out on the IT raids at Congress MP Dheeraj Sahu's residence. 6 days on, counting still happening. We've reached about 350 crores, but it could go much higher because many more piles of cash are yet to be counted.
The Solicitor General, appearing for the Union of India, submitted that statehood will be restored to Jammu and Kashmir and that its status as a union territory is temporary. The Solicitor General submitted that the status of the Union Territory of Ladakh will not be affected by the restoration of statehood to Jammu and Kashmir. In view of the submission made by the Solicitor General that statehood would be restored of Jammu and Kashmir, we do not find it necessary to determine whether the reorganization of the state of Jammu and Kashmir into 2 union territories of Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir is permissible under Article 3. The status of Ladakh as a union territory is upheld under Article 370, Clause 1 by the President, indicates that the gradual process of constitutional integration was ongoing. The declaration issued by the President in exercise of the power under Clause 3 of Article 370 is a culmination of the process of integration. Thus, we do not find that the President's exercise of power under Clause 3 of Article 370 was mala fide.
Air quality today. In Delhi, 315. In Mumbai, 106. In Kolkata, 179. In Bangalore, 61. In Chennai, 90. In Hyderabad, 91.
It's been 6 days now since the IT department raided Congress MP Dheeraj Sahu's residences in Odisha and Jharkhand, and the counting is still underway. Right now, cash machines are being used. There are hundreds of officials, we're being told, who are right now busy as part of this operation. 351 crores of cash has been counted, but there are many more piles that are yet to be counted right now. So IT officials are camped at Congress MP Sahu's residences right now. Munish Pandey is joining us with more details on the story as well. Munish, what are the updates you're really picking up from officials? As far as the investigation goes, I'm guessing they've hit pause on it till they finish counting first.
Akshita, we have been given to understand is that the counting is still underway and the counting of small denomination notes is still going on, and the figure is likely to cross more than 355 crore rupees. As far as IT officials are concerned, remember, not only the cash amount. Why it is taking time? Because it is not only the cash amount, also there are kilograms of jewelries which have been seized by the IT officials. So even that is being accounted by the IT officials, and that is why it is still taking time. The IT officials, not only from Odisha, but also from the nearby states like Jharkhand, from Bombay, from Hyderabad, those officials are also there to assist the local officials, and bank officials of State Bank of India are assisting the IT officials in counting the notes. So the procedure is still going on, and as far as IT department is concerned, what they are claiming that this is historic because before, even before this, they have not seized such amount of huge cash. And in all of this, politics is already going on because the connection of this company, Both Distillery Private Limited, this company is with Congress Rajya Sabha MP Dheeraj Sahu, and BJP is already targeting the Congress party on the corruption issue. Akshita.
All right, Manish, thanks very much for getting us all of those updates. Counting still happening. You've got officials being roped in from different parts of the country to be a part of the process right now. Look at those images, viewers. For the last 6 days, we've been getting you these pictures, and every day there are more cash piles that are being pulled out so the counting can continue. Somewhere near 355 crores is where it's expected to hit tomorrow, and then maybe even more than that, as officials are still conducting these raids at the premises of Congress leader and Rajya Sabha MP Dheeraj Sahu in Odisha and Jharkhand. Now, the BJP has, in fact, taken this up massively, leading protests targeting the Congress over alleged corruption. The Congress, meanwhile, is trying hard to distance itself from this member of parliament who they nominated to the Rajya Sabha 3 times. They're saying that this is his personal business and he must explain where he got this cash from.
Counting the unaccounted, a staggering 351 crore rupees in cash has been seized thus far. The highest single action recovery by the Income Tax Department. These confiscations transpired during a 5-day relentless search at an Odisha-based distillery, owned by the family of Congress MP Dheeraj Prasad Sahu. The Income Tax Department conducted a raid on Both Distillery Private Limited, its promoters and associates on December 6, suspecting tax evasion, undisclosed transactions stemming from the sale of country liquor by the business group and its distributors and others. A team of 200 officials, including security personnel and support staff, participated in raids at multiple locations in Odisha. Cupboards crammed with banknotes were opened. Around 200 bags and trunks used to transport the seized cash to various banks in Odisha. The recoveries from locations associated with the Congress's Rajya Sabha member from Jharkhand, who identifies himself as a political and social worker and industrialist, have sparked a political uproar. The BJP staged a protest to corner the Congress. Party chief JP Nadda demanded an explanation from the Gandhis regarding the substantial haul.
बार बार IT, ED एजेंसीज इन पर आरोप लगाते रहे हैं। आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी, कांग्रेस पार्टी और स्पष्ट रूप में राहुल गांधी से पूछना चाहती है कि धीरज साहू के ठिकानों से निकला हुआ काला धन, उस पर उनको क्या कहना है?
Congress distanced itself from Sahu's business activities and advised him to disclose the source of the seized banknotes. The BJP has been unyielding, hinting at a Gandhi link with the cash seizure. Home Minister Amit Shah challenged Congress allies to speak up.
कांग्रेस का मौन तो हमें समझ में आता है क्योंकि इनकी फितरत ही भ्रष्टाचार की है, परंतु चाहे तृणमूल कांग्रेस हो, चाहे जेडीयू हो, चाहे आरजेडी हो, ये सारे दल डीएमके सहित चुप बैठे हैं। सपा भी चुप बैठी है, कोई रिएक्शन नहीं। अब मुझे समझ में आ रहा है कि मोदी जी के खिलाफ ये जो एक प्रचार अभियान चला कि एजेंसियों का दुरुपयोग हुआ है, वो क्यों चलाया गया? क्योंकि इनके जहन में एक डर था कि हमारे करप्शन के सारे कच्चे चिट्ठे खुल जाएंगे।
The Samajwadi Party, on the other hand, alleged that the cash recoveries reflected the failure of demonetization, which purportedly aimed at curbing unaccounted wealth. Meanwhile, the counting of notes from the massive seizures continue through both manpower and machine. Pressure mounts on Congress, which staunchly opposes corruption-related raids as political witch hunt. As of now, no statement has been issued by the 68-year-old Rajya Sabha member. Bureau Report, India Today.
And that's all we have time for in this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Thanks very much for tuning in. Coming up on the other side, Mission 2024 with Preeti Chaudhary. She's going to be running you through the decision taken by the BJP High Command of naming Mohan Yadav as the next Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh.
आज जो हरकत मरकजी सरकार ने पार्लियामेंट के अंदर नाजायज, गैर कानूनी, गैर आईनी की, उसको जो जायज करार दिया गया, वो जम्मू कश्मीर के लिए ही नहीं बल्कि